Now that I'm 4 years into it, I'm like, why was I not doing this years ago? Hi guys, I am so excited to be with you guys again today for another YouTube video. I've got my puppy Dolly with me. Can you say hello? Oh my gosh. She's getting so big. She's like 32 pounds now. I'm used to Maltipoos in our family. So she's like the big dog in our family. And I just love her. I just love her so much. She's in like all of the YouTube videos if you've been following along. Today I'm actually going to be doing a YouTube video all about how to attract clients to your business. I'm speaking about this from like an illustrator and designer perspective, but you can really apply these principles to any business that you might be running. I'm only going to be sharing the things that I would do and have done to attract the right kind of clients. Today, I would really like to focus on not only how to attract clients in general, but especially from the lens of how to attract clients when you're just starting out, because I've noticed a lot of you are struggling with just that initial milestone. And then I think sometimes people struggle with getting clients consistently. I mean, that's how you make a full-time income with a service-based business, is getting clients that are consistent paying clients for your business. But I really want to speak to that of, where do you find clients when you don't have a whole portfolio of work to share with people? You can't really get experience until somebody agrees to hire you and give you the experience. There's all kinds of methods to attract clients. I just want to talk about the ones that I feel like really work for me. The first way that you can get clients, even if you've never ever had a client ever, is by doing a self-initiated project. No matter what industry you're in, let's say you're like a web designer, you can initiate a project. There is nothing wrong with doing self-initiated projects. I think it's even important for seasoned professionals to still do self-initiated projects, because it helps you to kind of expand your horizons. It helps you to test your creative boundaries and gives you experience in new areas that you don't necessarily have to be hired to do in order to get experience in a different area of your industry. I think a lot of people think that the only thing they can put in their portfolio is work that they have been paid to do. You can start a self-initiated passion project and use that as a way to get other clients, new leads, new business. I know of so many designers that they want to, for example, do a logo design for a restaurant. So what do they do to attract those types of clients? They do a self-initiated rebrand for maybe a fake restaurant. Like, you can come up with a fake restaurant concept and then do the whole logo and branding around it. Or I think this is a really effective way to kind of get people's attention, is to use an existing brand and revamp it. Revamp the brand. How would you do their logo and branding? Somebody that I think does this extremely well is Brianna Summers of Brighton Made. You can look her up on Instagram under Brighton Made. She does this so well. She's incredibly successful. She has a whole team that she's working with now, and she's built this business from the ground up. There's quite a few reels in there that she posts where she's like rebranding businesses or sharing like those self-initiated projects where she's saying like, hey, I passed by this restaurant and I noticed that their branding could use some work, and kind of showcasing her talents and what could be possible for them. I think that's a really great way to reach a prospective client, or at least to show up in a certain area that you would like to begin work in. The next thing that I would say is to just tell people what you're doing. I think so often people struggle to get clients and they're never telling people what they do for their business, because sorry, I had to sneeze. Happens to me every time I record a YouTube video. I have to do like 7 sneezes. It's gonna happen again. Okay. Another really great way to get clients to come to you so that you can start making money is simply opening your mouth and telling people what you do for a living. When you are a small business owner and you're pursuing that alongside a full-time job, for a lot of us, somebody could know us for years, but they never actually know that like, oh, we have this whole other thing. It may take years for your coworkers to find out that you do this business on the side, if they ever even find out at all before you either quit and go to the next job or quit and go full-time with your business. I feel like it was a lack of confidence in my business and feeling like I have a side hustle. So many of us detract from what we're doing, and so we feel awkward and embarrassed, and it's like, oh, I have this thing that I do on the side. No, open up your mouth and tell people what you do for a living. If you're making money from your business, you are also doing your business for a living, regardless of whether or not you have a full-time job in addition to your small business income. So when people ask you what you do for a living, let's say you're like me, I used to be a content marketing strategist. I would just say, oh, I'm a content marketing strategist, which then would have to explain to people what the heck that even means. And then I left out this whole other part of my business. It was really awkward when people would slowly, at one of my earlier jobs, people would start to figure out that I had a following on social media. And I think at this point I had like 50,000 followers on Instagram, and people would kind of like start to figure it out. And it was just kind of like one by one in the office, somebody at some point would be like, wait a minute, is this your Instagram? And I'm like, yeah. And it just was very awkward, because I didn't share with people what I was doing. Everybody around you, especially if you're in a service-based business, or let's say you just do custom art, everybody around you is a potential customer, even your coworkers. If you have something that you could provide to them that could be of use for them, there's no reason why they can't be a paying client or a paying customer. So every moment is an opportunity. And I'll give you an example of this. I was on an airplane on a flight to Florida, and I met this woman. She was just the bomb. I freaking love her. In my mind, I was like, I'm not going to pitch anything to her, because I'm not trying to be like, hey, and while you're at it, can you please buy something from me? Like, it wasn't that type of a thing. To me and my mindset, every moment is an opportunity. So I'm not going to waste any of those. I told her what I did for a living, and it just so happened to be like the week that I had my last day. The day I was on this flight was right after I had had my last day at my previous full-time job before I went full-time with my business. And so I just told her what I did. I told her what I provided. Not once did I ever say, and this is how I could make it work for you, or and this is what I could do with you. Like, not once was it ever a pitch or anything like that. I just simply told her what I was doing. The next day I had a LinkedIn message from her, and then she became a prospective client, and we're talking about working together. All it took was just me sharing with her what I do. And even if you're just starting, you have this imposter syndrome where you're like, well, this is what I'm trying to do. No, this is what you are doing. And you have to adopt that mindset and speak with confidence, because if you're not confident in your offer, nobody else is going to be confident in it. So make sure that you speak with confidence. And a really great way to make sure that you are sharing with people what you do for a living is go to events with business cards. These are my business cards. I think they're so cute. I illustrated a little portrait of me on my business cards, and I could do that for you. If you need a business card design, I can do that for you. And you know what I did just now? I just told you what I do. There could be somebody watching this right now that's like, I need a business card design, and I can do it for you. This is like the active process of me telling you what I do, planting the seed. You never know like who's listening, who's watching what you're doing, who might be in need of something. You get the point. The next thing that I would say is a really great way to get clients or attract potential clients to your business is to have a website and to share your work in an online portfolio. No matter what you're doing, find some way to share your work in an online portfolio. Websites. I also feel that those are very important. I know that a lot of people might say, don't get a website until you've tested your proof of concept and make sure that it can actually be a profitable business, which agree. But I also think that a lot of people, including myself, really put off the task and the undertaking of getting a website simply because it's such a big project. And I personally just redid my website, and I worked on it really hard to get it done in 2 days because I had a launch coming up. So it was really time sensitive. Like I needed to get it up like yesterday. And so I got my new website up and running in 2 days using a Squarespace template that I bought on Creative Market, made a beautiful website. I didn't have to, do a bunch of coding, things like that. It's a gorgeous website. And I just really feel strongly that having a website really does speak to your credibility and it kind of helps with that know, like, and trust factor, specifically with the trust part. I feel like it's a lot easier for people to trust you and understand your credibility when you have a website, and it's a great way to give people a bigger picture of what you're doing and make sure that your website's professional. I also think that it's important to make sure, especially if you're going to get a template that has a portfolio section built in, and make sure that you are using that portfolio to showcase your best work. Not all of your work, but just the best work. I think with portfolios, I am guilty of this. It's really easy to just be like, okay, I'm just going to show every single piece of work that I've ever done to show people that, like, I have experience. No. Quality over quantity in this case. Share the pieces that you have that you are most proud of, the pieces that speak to the type of designer or social media manager or what have you, the type of fill in the blank that you want to become. So if you want to start attracting different clients, don't keep sharing the same portfolio pieces. Like if you are working with small businesses and you want to work with more like luxury upscale brands, quit sharing so many portfolio pieces of small businesses because you're just going to keep attracting that same clientele. And you may not even know what your ideal client is right now if you are just starting out, and just know that that might be something that comes more with time. You should definitely know who your target market is and have an idea of that. But I do think though that it does change with time. It evolves, and that's okay. A portfolio is a great way to either continue attracting the type of clients that you want to continue working with, or to, reinvent and start attracting clients of a different niche or a different industry that you want to work with in the future. So this tip, to me, it is the most successful thing that I have ever done to attract clients in my business history of all time, forever and ever. Like it has been wild to see the success of this one thing that I have been doing with my business for a long time. And something that I really didn't even think about when I first started my business. And now that I'm 4 years into it, I'm like, why was I not doing this years ago? And I feel like at first when I say this, you guys are going to be like, huh? Like, why is this? I feel like it's just going to be kind of maybe a little underwhelming at first, but just trust me, it is like the top tip that I can recommend to you when it comes to attracting clients to your business. The biggest thing that has gotten me leads, new prospective clients, is simply word of mouth, not social media, not my email marketing, word of mouth. It's simply my current clients trusting me enough, being happy enough with my work to recommend me to other people in the local community. And I know that sounds really, really simple, but it's not just about, giving every client a 5-star experience. That's a piece of this. But the other part of this is being willing to network with people in your community. So this is like a twofold thing. It's word of mouth and it's networking. Networking is something that really comes more on you. Word of mouth is really counting on other people to spread the word about what you're doing. So let's talk about networking first. When I was in college, I was networking my butt off, talking to anybody and everybody that I could that was in the advertising industry, because I was like, I'm going to go work in an advertising agency. And I did. I worked at 2 of them. And that clearly was not like the career path for me. I was just like, I don't love it here. I was getting coffee with people almost every day, meeting with, vice presidents, or meeting with people part of internship programs, meeting with people that I knew could help me get an internship or a job, especially like my senior year when I was looking for a job, I was networking with anybody and everybody that I possibly could, because a lot of times it is true that it's not necessarily about what you know, but who you know. I felt like I had two different worlds. I had Simply Sophie world and I had full-time job world. And this kind of felt more like a dream and more like unrealistic, but like would be cool. And this was like, okay, this is like the responsible path. Like I'm going to pursue this. And I was going so hardcore with networking for this side, doing nothing for this side. I think I could have started client work in my business way earlier had I been willing to network, and also going back to what I shared earlier, just being willing to share with people what I do. And so it's interesting because I've shared this before, so you might have heard this, but my first clients were overseas. It's funny though, because it's only now in my business that I have started to realize the necessity of networking locally. So the reason why I was getting a lot of clients that were overseas is because my Instagram was starting to blow up a little bit, which is another great way to attract clients to your business, is utilizing social media. And because of that, I was ending up on the Explore page a lot. And then that resulted in a lot of people just reaching out to me, wondering if I could create some of the graphics for them that I was featuring and showcasing on my page. Which, another thing, Instagram is basically like a giant portfolio for your business. So I would recommend, if you're talking about your business on your personal account, great, but also make a separate account. Like, go ahead and make the business account. I kind of struggled with, well, should I just turn my personal account into a business account, or should I merge the two, or should I start a separate account? I would really recommend starting a separate account. And I'm really glad that I did that. Remember, when you're posting on Instagram, that it's basically one giant welcome mat. It's one giant first impression. It's one giant portfolio where you can use social media to attract new clients to your business. The last thing I'll say about networking is that I really do take any and every opportunity that I have to share with people what I do and to share with people what my business is, because even if they're not somebody that could utilize my services, they know somebody that could. And especially if it's somebody that is like a friend, like they're going to want to help me succeed. There's no reason for me to not share with them what I do, to give them my business card and see who they can pass my name along to. And it's also okay to ask really good clients, people that you've had a good relationship with. I think it's okay to also say, hey, if you have anybody at all that you can think of that could utilize my services, please send my information their way, because it really helps my business to get referrals. I think it is absolutely okay to say that to your client. So getting into the word of mouth piece, the reason why word of mouth is so important is because, again, I'm going back to know, like, and trust. The beautiful thing about word of mouth is that when somebody comes to your Instagram page for the first time, they don't know you, but they also may not trust you yet. Maybe they come to your Instagram account and for months and months and months, they're like in the I like you phase, but they haven't crossed over into like the I trust you and I would buy this course from you. When you have a really happy client that's looking to recommend you to one of their friends, they automatically trust you even though this friend doesn't know you. They know their friend that's your client. It's like, you saying to somebody, hey, I tried out this really great restaurant and I think you should go. You're probably going to go check it out, because why would your friend recommend something to you that's bad? So automatically, you don't have to break through the barrier of like trust. Like, that's already taken care of, which is a huge part of the buying decision. So you have to think about the psychology behind it, and it's so much easier to get a client make a sale when you are being recommended to them by one of their friends. If you don't have any clients yet, again, the things that I would focus on are telling people what you do, doing taking initiative to do a self-initiated project where you're doing a portfolio piece that you've initiated, getting paid or not, like you've initiated this project. Usually they're passion projects that you're not getting paid for, but you're creating work that can go in your portfolio. I would also talk to family and friends. I think a lot of people discount getting work from family or friends because it doesn't feel like legitimate work, but I've actually made a lot of money in the past from family and friends supporting me. And my business started out as a basically like custom portrait shop. And so many of my first customers, like when I was in college, when I first started out, I started this business in a dorm room. And when I first started out, I was probably I would say I got it up to the point where I was making like maybe $700, $800 a month from this custom portrait business. And it was nothing crazy, but it was like really great grocery and like restaurant money to go, hang out with my friends. I mean, it was awesome. I loved it. So to me, I'm like, practically all of that money, I mean, basically all of it was coming from people on campus at college that I knew. They were either roommates, sorority sisters, and they were then coming to my dorm room or eventually my senior house to come pick up their portraits most of the time, or we were meeting at the coffee shop on campus. They were all people that I knew. But $700 is $700 regardless of who it's coming from. And eventually that grew and grew and grew into a full-time income. But my point is that it's okay to get clients from family members and friends because money is money, no matter who it's coming from. I think the only thing you have to be careful about is, you might have some family members, or I haven't experienced this, but you might have family members or friends that are expecting a discount. And really at the end of the day, they should want to pay you in full because they love you and want to support you. So it can be hard to put up those boundaries and to say no to somebody, but I would challenge you that if somebody is expecting a family and friends discount from you, try and say no and explain to them why. And you'll also probably experience something that I experienced where I've given family and friends discounts, not because anybody expected it from me, but because I felt guilty about not doing it and I felt obligated. Again, not because anybody was making me feel that way, but because I made myself feel that way. And in reality, they probably would have, I know that they would have been perfectly fine with paying full price. So it's just tricky. It can be tricky to navigate. But again, money is money. It doesn't matter who it's coming from. So if it's coming from family and friends, don't feel like that's illegitimate money, because it's not. It's not. You still have to pay your taxes on it. So trust me, it's legitimate. So those are a lot of different ways to start attracting clients to your business today. And if you have any questions, I would love to talk about this further with you. I just opened my automatic trash can. I know that this is like a tough subject because it's just hard to attract, especially like your first clients when you don't have any work yet to show. But really focus on relationship building, whether it's on social media or in person, networking with people in your local community. I think that's so important. Again, when I was first starting out, my reach got pretty broad on social media pretty quickly. And so I was really thinking like a really big picture, like all over the world, which is great. But I found so much success by like making things a little bit smaller in my world and focusing on the community around me and the opportunities that are existent right here in my hometown in Indiana, and the businesses that I can work with here. And I think people also like to work with businesses. There's like a camaraderie I've noticed between other Hoosier-owned businesses here in Indiana. People love working with other local businesses. There's a lot of support in the small business community. So tap into that and use that to your advantage, and know that there are going to be people that genuinely do want to do business with you because they genuinely want to help you pursue what you're pursuing. And it can be a really beautiful community to be part of. So don't discount that. Make sure you're investing in that, and just try your very best to be patient and know that the way it's supposed to work out is how it's going to work out. Again, if you have any questions, I'd love to chat further with you guys about this. If you have any questions on, crafting up pitches or other ways to attract clients, or maybe you're feeling really stuck, please let me know in the comments below. I'm here to help. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you never miss a video from me. And I will catch you on the flip side in our next video, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.